Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a vehicle that honestly needs no introduction, but somehow it demands our full attention all over again. The Tesla Model Y is already the world's best-selling electric vehicle. It's an absolute titan of the industry. But as we're going to see today, for the 2026 model year, Tesla isn't just resting on its laurels. They are aggressively defending that title across the globe. We're talking new variants, massive software updates, and sweeping refinements that make this iconic SUV more compelling than it's ever been. So, here's the million-dollar question. How exactly do you improve a vehicle that is already dominating the entire market? I mean, when you're already number one, where do you even go from there? Well, you fix your blind spots, you expand your audience, and you integrate cutting-edge tech. We are going to break down the sheer scale of both the hardware and software updates Tesla has rolled out for 2026. Here is our roadmap for today. We're covering 4 distinct chapters. First, the 6-seater Model YL. Second, the quirky new performance model. Third, the much-anticipated Juniper refresh. And finally, global tech rollouts and safety records. Let's get right into it. Chapter 1. The 6-seater Model Y. L. Expanding the champ's appeal. Okay, this is arguably the biggest news of 2026. The arrival of a long-wheelbase, 3-row version. This massively expands the car's appeal for larger families who previously had to look at much larger, way more expensive SUVs. And the sheer difference in scale here is wild. The wheelbase on the Model YL has been stretched by 150 millimeters, so that's about 6 inches, bringing it to 3,040 millimeters. The overall length actually increases by about 7 inches compared to the standard model. Because of this stretch, you get a genuinely usable third row. Inside, it boasts a 2+2+2 layout featuring captain's chairs in the second row. And don't worry, it doesn't slouch on performance either. Its dual-motor all-wheel drive setup still delivers a 0-60 time of just 4.4 seconds with an EPA estimated range of 325 miles.
Now, all of that added utility comes with a U.S. starting price of $61,990. And the market has responded immediately to this massive value proposition. Take Australia, for instance. The Model YL helped Tesla post record sales in July 2026. The Model Y lineup, bolstered by this new, larger variant, accounted for more than half of all Tesla sales in that country for the entire month, totaling over 4,600 vehicles.
But, there's always a catch, right? For American buyers anyway. Tesla originally advertised an upgraded, actively cooled 50-watt wireless charging pad for the Model YL. This was a super highly anticipated feature because it finally solved the overheating issues that plague the older 15-watt chargers. But US buyers actually aren't getting it. Tesla stated that this hardware isn't coming to North America right now simply because the region hasn't fully adopted the Q2 wireless standard yet. It's a small but undeniably frustrating omission for a $62,000 car.
Moving right along, Chapter 2, the quirky performance model. Faster, softer, and more usable. If you thought 2026 was just about cramming in more seats, think again. The Model Y performance has been completely rethought for everyday life. But rather than doubling down on raw, aggressive track capabilities, Tesla took a fascinating turn toward making the car faster, softer, and way more usable. To really understand this shift, you just need to hear this incredibly blunt quote from Lars Moravi, Tesla's vice president of vehicle engineering. He literally asked, "Who the effing takes a Model Y on a racetrack?" That philosophy completely shaped this new iteration. Tesla actually removed track mode. That's right, no more drift adjustments or full stability control defeat options. Instead, they shifted the entire focus to everyday enjoyment, bumping the combined output to 510 horsepower, which is a 50 horsepower improvement over the last generation, while making the ride so much more agreeable for your daily commute.
And this is where things get a little quirky. Independent test data from out-of-spec studios brilliantly illustrates this new vibe. The car claims a blistering 3.3 seconds 0-60 time, but when tested in the real world, something strange happens. Without launch control engaged, it hits 60 in 3.58 seconds, but with launch control activated, it actually slows down to 3.67 seconds. Turns out, the software meters out the acceleration much more gently in launch mode, just to prevent jarring the occupants. The main takeaway here, if you want maximum speed, you are better off just mashing the pedal yourself.
Beyond that quirky acceleration software, the performance model gets some fantastic, really pragmatic upgrades. You're getting a larger 16-inch central touchscreen, performance-specific front seats with larger side bolsters to really hold you in place, and adaptive dampers offering standard and sport settings. Plus, a 3,500-pound towing capacity is now totally standard, and the absolute kicker? At $59,630, it's actually cheaper than the previous generation. It is quite literally a family SUV that can outrun a sports car, yet it's perfectly content just doing the grocery run.
Chapter 3. Fixing Flaws with the Juniper Refresh. Welcome to the refinement era. Let's be honest. For all of its past success, the previous Model Y did lack some refinement. It had a busy ride, pretty noticeable road noise, and a fairly austere cabin. These were clear weaknesses that rivals were eagerly exploiting. The 2026 iteration, codenamed Juniper during development, tackles these flaws head-on in 3 main areas. First up, the ride. They've added acoustic glass all around and heavily revised the suspension tuning. Sharp impacts literally no longer crash into the cabin, transforming the ride from crashy to beautifully controlled and comfortable. Second, the cabin. They address some very conspicuous omissions by finally adding ventilated front seats, a rear touchscreen for climate and entertainment, and ambient lighting to just elevate the whole mood. And finally, the looks. A slim front light bar and a really cool indirect full-width rear light modernize the whole aesthetic, all without sacrificing the car's aerodynamic profile or its spacious packaging.
The result of all these Juniper fixes is a vehicle that finally feels whole. The consensus from reviewers has been absolutely glowing, culminating in what is probably the ultimate modern compliment. It's being called the iPhone of cars. That just means the hardware and software are seamlessly integrated, highly refined, and intuitively designed. Comfort is clearly no longer an afterthought here. It's now treated as a core component of the car's overall performance.
Finally, Chapter 4, Global Tech and Safety Records. Brains, Brawn, and New Markets. So let's zoom out for a second and look at the global picture. The 2026 Model Y isn't just about localized hardware tweaks. It is flexing its technological brains and safety brawn across entirely new markets. A massive part of this strategy is Tesla's aggressive push into India. They haven't just launched the car, they've actually opened physical experience centers. They've introduced the 2026 Model Y premium rear-wheel drive at 50.89 lakh rupees, which translates to roughly $61,000. For that price, Indian buyers are getting an impressive 500 kilometers of WLTP range and a 0 to 100 time of 5.9 seconds. But as we know, the hardware is only half the story in these new markets. Tesla rolled out a massive free over-the-air update, bringing the Grok AI assistant directly to Indian owners. And guys, this is way beyond your basic voice assistant. It supports 6 regional languages, including Hindi, Marathi, and Tamil. It actually learns your habits to suggest destinations, it plans complex multi-stop journeys, finds critical infrastructure like hospitals or superchargers, and it even explains vehicle alerts to you in natural language. It's also worth pointing out that in China, Tesla has partnered with ByteDance to integrate the Daobao large language model, which just further proves their commitment to hyper-localized AI tech.
So the crucial point to take away here is that underneath all this localized AI and comfortable acoustic glass, the car's foundational safety is stronger than ever. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA, announced that the 2026 Model Y is the very first vehicle to pass their brand new, highly rigorous Advanced Driver Assistance Systems evaluations for vehicles manufactured after November 2025. It absolutely conquered pedestrian automatic emergency braking, lane keeping, and both blind spot warning and intervention tests. It is literally the pioneer of this new era of safety standards.
And that advanced ADAS performance is stacked right on top of an already validated 5-star crash rating in frontal, side, and rollover tests. This isn't just clever PR spin, it is hard validation from America's top safety regulator. And consumers are paying close attention because safety and refinement drive sales. We see this crystal clear in Australia, where electrified vehicles captured a record high 49.16% of all new car sales in the second quarter of 2026. In fact, Tesla sales in July of that year saw a massive 5-fold jump compared to the previous year.
At the end of the day, the Model Y didn't become the world's best-selling EV by accident. And the 2026 updates prove that Tesla is fighting tooth and nail to keep that crown. They've given us the versatile 3-row Model YL for families, the quirky yet highly usable performance model for enthusiasts, the Juniper Refresh for ultimate comfort, and localized AI like Grok that pushes boundaries globally. Which leaves us with this final thought. With all these incredibly diverse updates, which 2026 variant is best suited for the future of your driving? Take a moment to think about that. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I will see you next time.